What's up, y'all? It's your boy Donna Faithful. How's everybody doing? Woo! We got a victory Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I don't always sweep, but what I do, oh no. We're gonna say that for after the show and everything. But we have a special guest co-host today. But before we get started, we would first like to announce our holiday sale. All of December, save 20% off of all our non-affiliate products. That's our Revenge Tour, our Raheem the Dream, our Red is for Royalty, Gold is for Glory, Bang Bang Niner Gang, Faithful Then, Faithful Now. Everything that is not from the team store, you get 20% off with the promo code Faithful. Make sure to get all your orders before December 10th, or the deadline is December 10th to make sure you get all holiday orders shipped out for U.S. orders. Thank you. Make sure to visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop to see all those lovely details and check out our lovely gear. Okay. We also, this is near and dear to my heart, close. I love it. We have the 408 squad is saying, come out and support the children. 2020 has been rough on so many, above all, the children. We are inviting you to come join us to bring an unwrapped toy and enjoy some music, live performance, some dope rides, and all above else to give back. Yes, social distancing and masks are required. It's 2020, y'all. This season tis the season to give. One love, please. You can go ahead and join them at Extreme Pizza, 638 Blossom Hill Road, San Jose, California, 95123, December 5th, 1 to 5 p.m. Of course, you know Niner Faithful Radio is going to be there. And I would dare to say probably all the 408 Empire, 408 Squad, 408 Swag, all of us are probably going to be there. Please come out and support if you can. 2020 has been rough on all of us. Let's get back to the kids. I mean, let's be realistic. Besides the manners, Christmas is for kids. All right. But without further ado, she's been waiting patiently forever. We're going to add her to the stream.
Hello.
Jamie, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Ladies
How are
and
you
gentlemen,
doing?
for the first time ever on Niner Faithful Radio, you have the two of us together. You have pretty much the two hosts. Let's be real. Of Niner Faithful Radio. Jamie, of course, for those who don't know, shame on you. You need to support Good Morning Niner Empire. Jamie works really hard on putting together. She edits, she produces. I mean, pretty much that's her baby. And she does a wonderful job doing Good Morning Niner Empire. All right, so we got a couple news and notes from the game. Of course, we are going to start off with the biggest obvious news. It is official for you who don't know. I mean, you must be sleeping under a rock. It is official. The Niners will be practicing at the training facility of where the Arizona has their training camp. My boy tells me that it's somewhere in by Scottsdale, down the, I guess, a couple miles from where the Giants, baseball Giants, not the football team Giants, but the baseball Giants, have their training facility. So that's what they'll be practicing. We will be playing at least the December 13th and December 20th games against Buffalo and Washington there. That is pretty much all we know. Kyle Shanahan also said, and I know this might be a concern for pretty much everybody, the Niners are not going to be missing Christmas with their families. Jed York has pretty much said, Kyle said Jed's going to help us out with that. I mean, whatever it takes. Let's be one thing clear. at least since the DeBarlow / Yorks have taken over, no expense is spared to accommodate the players of this organization. So we tend not to be a cheap organization. So we, the faithful, pay the price for that, but it's worth it to get a first class football team. Unfortunately, we also have to do the unfortunate news, and Jamie will cover this in more detail and give you the exact words of Kyle Shanahan on Good Morning Niner Empire tonight, or tomorrow morning. Jamal Taylor, it's official, has torn his ACL. I think that it was heartbreaking for all of us to see how he left the field in tears. I mean, as soon as you brought the card out, that's not good.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Cart comes out, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, you don't bring the card out for kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
So I think a little bragging rights. I mean, yeah, obviously past the 24-hour rule, but this needs to be bragged about. The Niners improved to 73-67 and 3 overall against the Yams, and 37-33 and run on the road. They get their first back-to-back sweep of the Yams since 2008-2009. I think that we'll go ahead and get your thoughts on this, Jamie. We'll pause right here for a second, but I think that back-to-back sweeps is not easy to beat an NFL team twice in a year.
I agree with that.
I think that has a lot to do with Robert Saleh. Clearly has something with the Yams number. I was sharing a statistic here that Jared Goff was 1 of 7 with a pick for 30 yards with throws beyond 10 yards. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 10 yards. Okay?
You don't see that statistic very often. That's obviously not great, not what the Rams would want at all. But yeah, Saleh plays, the defense plays them tough, their offense tough. And I feel like that they figured out that as long as they make Jared Goff uncomfortable, they have a really good shot.
I mean, he was clearly off all game. I mean, you saw it, like watching the game. We've seen it. Last year, I was blessed enough to be at the Niners Yams game, the 21st, I want to say it was, a couple of days before Christmas. I was blessed enough to be there, and there were some throws he made in that game where you're like, damn, he there might be something. And let's be real, that game, I think, really turned into the Niners' favor. I mean, obviously, we all know the 2 3rd and 16s, but at what the play where I said, look, those who didn't know it before will have to say it now, where I believe Fred Warner began to be in the conversation for LB1 was a pick 6 right before halftime. I believe that changed the course of the game. And so I believe that for what we all know, and we'll get into a little bit on both of our thoughts here a little bit later, for what those who believe will be, I believe the person who will pack Saleh's bags and get him to the airport the fastest will be Sean McVay. Because I don't think that when you beat a team 4 times in a row, and yeah, you could argue some luck was involved last year in the game at Levi's, and a blown coverage here, blown coverage there, whatever. But you don't put the clamps on a team. The Niners only gave up 2 offensive touchdowns to the Yams all season.
That's crazy.
It's Sherman said it, and you know what? We'll go ahead and have Jamie add that to the clip of Good Morning Niner Empire today. But he was pounding the table and pretty much said what Adam and I have been saying on the show is, look, the defense is not the problem. We're top 5 in most categories. And so, as you and I said in our little pre-show meeting, as you greatly said, it's if the offense can get their crap together, look, Super Bowl, whatever. But that might go how the tables turn. We might see what's up with that. Who do we play in the Super Bowl? How injured are they? How healthy are we? There's too many factors. But a defense that plays the way that we're playing, or capable of playing, and an offense that's semi-competent in at least your simple third down efficiency, red zone efficiency, things of that nature. They can start playing the type of football that matters. That's a team that wants to play, I think. Hey, how you doing, Kim? Thank you for coming, as always. So, wrapping up the note segment here, you got the first team to win at, I call it Levi South, but Adam went ahead and pointed it out. Or Jason went ahead and pointed it out. This is gonna get even crazier to a statistic, real quick right here. 200 yards less passing for the third time this season. 198 yards passing is what net passing is what Jared Goff had yesterday.
Wow.
Forced fumbles in the first half was the first time since September of 2012 when we also forced 2 turnovers against the New York Jets in New York. 2012, for we all know, was a pretty special defense. I think we all will remember.
Yes. Yeah.
The concern I have of this real quick is offense 0 points off 3 turnovers given to the offense, or 4 turnovers. Obviously, we all know the 1 pick six.
Yeah.
And I think, that about wraps it up for the segment. We also have, I know Jason put this down, the concerns obviously were the offense, 3 of 14 on first down, 1 of 1 on fourth down, 4 of 13 for the Yams, obviously great for defense, 3 of 14, 3 turnovers. Look, I don't want to say lucky. Yes.
Yeah.
I think Jason, point right here by Jason, offense gets dominant, just 2 field goals in the first half, dominated this absolutely by the Niners. I mean, that's the key. That's why we win this game. I mean, I think that, and I don't want to say lucky, but this is not a formula of winning football, offensive winning football. I mean, that's Nick Mullins. I mean, you're going to look at, this is why I'm not a huge stats guy, but 24 of 35 for 252 and 1 pick doesn't sound too bad. That actually sounds a little, ironically, a little bit like a Jimmy Garoppolo stat line. I could easily see Jimmy put that stat line up, but we all saw that Nick Mullins was off yesterday. And I think that you're starting to see it leak in the frustration. I mean, Jordan Reed was clearly upset. And I think that a little bit looking forward, and I'll go ahead and get your thoughts on this, Jamie. A little bit looking forward, we have to adjust the quarterback position. Because go ahead.
I agree. I know there's been a lot of talk this season about the quarterback position and Jamie versus Nick and all these different things. I want to believe in Jimmy because I do believe Jimmy has the talent, but I do agree we need to address it because the way we cannot keep having, there are times when we have to get the ball down the field, and Jimmy cannot do that. He does not have the arm to do that. And defenses are starting to learn that he likes the middle of the field and taking that away from him. And it's becoming a bit of a problem. I agree we need to address it. I 100% agree. It's just And Nick is not the answer either. And don't get me wrong, I like Nick, but he is very clearly a backup quarterback. He is not a starter.
If you're going to go into a season where you believe that your quarterback is going to miss multiple games,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you cannot, and you're hoping to have a championship, or even, dare I say, to compete with the championship, i.e., Nick Foles. We need to upgrade at the backup position. Can Nick Mullins come in and can he win a game against the Yams? I mean, we clearly saw that. And dare I say, this is a team that, we all remember that game in 2018. So, what that we're clearly, obviously, Deebo Samuel, who we'll get into with our players that shined segment here in a second. But, upgrades of the talent, obviously are clear. But the quarterback position needs to be addressed. Now, getting on to our player segment.
Go ahead.
Getting on to our player segment, players that shine. I mean, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's we almost forgot. The man hadn't played in week 1, and we all know that. Albeit we are an emotional fan base, and a lot of faithful seem to look. It didn't help that the last that the faithful remember Sherm was the Super Bowl, and then didn't necessarily play the World's Game. Didn't play horrible, but gave up a few plays, had a PI, and then you're out since week. Since then, it's easy to question a lot of things, but Richard Sherman has some good ball left in him. And I know that Adam and I have both been on the move on for Sherm train.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that for the right price, he's somebody that you bring in, and I don't want to make it a situation where you're depending on Richard Sherman. If you could say, hey, Sherm, you're here, you're a starting left quarterback. Okay, we bring back Jason Verrett, K1, whatever that situation is for the right price. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. That you bring him back and you say, fine, but we're addressing this position via free agency draft by player X. And I could for a 2-year contract with a 3rd-year option, a 1-year contract with a 2-year option, that type of deal. I know Sherm said that the wife said only 3 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, everybody knows at least one noticeable snap I saw where Sherman played single high, and so don't think that that's not a.
I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah, I not a niche that we won't see here. Slowly start to roll out and start to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like Sherman. I do think it'd be nice to be able to keep him around for if we get a good contract for him. He is getting up there in age and with his injuries. I understand people not wanting to. And I get that point too. But I do think there's something where if you have a lot of young guys in the cornerback and in that defensive backfield like positions, it's always great to have somebody like Sherman there. And I don't know. I just think if the contract is good and fair, I say we keep him for a couple more years. I agree with the 2-year contract, 1 player option pickup. I agree with those kind of contracts. I think that'd be good too.
Yeah, we got a new viewer. What's up, CJ Bully? Haven't seen you before. Welcome to the show. Thank you. Kim will go ahead and take care of any questions. We're also adding a segment, so if you have any questions or specific things that you want to point out, we're going to go ahead and try to add a segment to the show where we answer anybody's questions or anything like that. But yeah, exactly. I think incentive-based contract, and I think that a little thing that a little kind of parag morate, a little notice DBA thing is that, of course, we should retain CJ Boley. We had also touched on that. Yeah, retain, of course.
Yeah.
Wow, went out for a second there. So with incentives, you have likely to achieve based incentives and likely to unachieve. Likely to unachieve based incentives are not counted against the cap. And how the NFL does that is, did you achieve it last year? So Pro Bowl, All Pro. Richard Sherman's probably not going to be a Pro Bowl or an All Pro this year. So you put that in his contract for next season. Hey, cool. We'll throw you a couple extra 2, 3, 4 million, whatever, of count against the cap. That nature, contract wizardry. Kerry Hyder, we're gonna get to Kerry Hyder here in a second, but look, I brought up earlier in the season, teams attacking Richard Sherman in the fourth quarter, and I think that's what it happened last week. So people ask, what are you getting with Richard Sherman? Well, you're getting a player who led the team with 7 tackles yesterday, 2 runs, stops allowed, one catch on 2 targets for 9 yards, and a player who has 36 picks, most of any active player in the NFL. Yeah. That's what you're getting with Richard Sherman, but you're also getting Richard Sherman at 32 years old. And so to expect if Richard Sherman plays all 11 games, are you getting that Richard Sherman? Probably not. You're probably not getting that type of Richard Sherman, but that's why you say, hey, we have Mosley, we have Verrett, we have players that give Sherman rest, whatever it is, whatever you think. And so we have that. Also, so to get to Kerry Hyder, let's go ahead. We'll move on to Kerry Hyder. 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 7.5 sacks on the season, which is tied for a career high. And this his 3rd career multi-sack game. And he has at least a half a sack in 7 of the 11 games. I mean, Kerry Hyder, I think that this might be blasphemy for here on the show, but we lost Jamie for a second, but we'll go ahead and we'll get her back. Ford was announced he isn't coming back, so let him walk and take the hit on that. Hyder return Bosa will be a dramatic. Yes, of course, Jason. I was not aware of that. Okay, yeah, that is big news with D Ford not coming back. That is we'll have to look into the cap savings and everything on that. So it is with Kerry Hyder. I mean, you got to give him a reasonable extension. Okay, we got Jamie back. But you have to give Kerry Hyder and I mean, to say, I know it's blasphemy to stay on the show, but I know it's blasphemy for us to stay on the show, but dare I say, if Ronald Blair doesn't come back, could he be replaced by Kerry Hyder? Because I mean, I think with Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead, and I'm assuming a player we sign in free agency or draft, Kerry Hyder is going to go back into his position of a role player. So to me, I love Kerry Hyder in a role of Ronald Blair. Now, I'd love to see Ronald Blair play this year and to say, hey, Ronald, hey, Super Blair, go play for your ass and play for your next contract. I'd love to say that. I'd love to get the competition. Kim, of course, with the point, I think we're going to do better with our players back on the roster. We need to be back and healthy. Yeah, and I think that obviously yesterday, Walters was placed on IR and is going on IR, and Taylor was going on IR, but we got out other than that relatively healthy. And I don't hear that we're getting I don't see that we're getting any other.
Didn't Kyle say that it's not looking good for Weston Richburg and Ronald Blair? They had setbacks with their injuries.
Okay.
I believe he said that.
I didn't hear that. I hadn't heard. Okay, I hadn't heard that. So, yeah, then I think that makes part of the point kind of mute. And I mean, I dare say in a year you got to make tough decisions, and we're going to lose players that we all love and we're all became endeared to.
Yeah.
I'd say I think Kerry Hyder's replaced Ronald Blair. I mean, if it comes down to do you keep Ronald Blair or K1 Williams? I keep K1 Williams. If you keep Ronald Blair or Juice, I keep Juice. You know, and I hate to say it, and I think he'll go into what I like to call the Ian Williams Hall of Fame, which is a player that got hurt playing the Sheepcocks. And, you know, let's all real. What did he do to blow out his knee? Was sacking Russell Wilson. And, I mean, if you're going to dear yourself forever in the hearts of Niner fans and go out injured, we obviously wish that we would hope that wouldn't happen. But that's the way to go out.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately we didn't win the game, and not to dwell on last year, but, I mean, damn, I thought Drake Greenlaw's pick was going to do it.
Yeah.
Juice definitely needs to be kept on the roster. Yeah, I think he does. Because to me, it's with Juice is you say, is this player the best player at his position? Yes.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, Juice is so important in our run game. Like with blocking and doing that. He's like, I know like his contract, people were not a fan of his contract because it was huge, but he's instrumental in getting that going. I
believe when you broke it down, some podcasts, I wish I remembered which one it was, broke it down, and when you look at it through fullback, highest paid fullback, all that, but when you break it down at tight end, he's like something like the 58th highest paid tight end.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So when you look at it and you say, okay, does Juice do so? It's how much does he do on the offense if we go ask that 4th and 1 play? I don't know. I mean, kind of seems kind of important, right? Do you want you know, the first touchdown in the Super Bowl was scored by who? And I mean, to me is sure, can you replace him as a blocker? Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Could you replace him as a pass blocker or a pass catcher with maybe not a fullback, but a player of his, you know, type, a running back, a tight end? Sure, probably. But can you replace it with one player? No.
Mm-mm.
You can't get the blocking and the pass production of. And I mean, we see it yesterday. How many times have we finally connected? Big props. So we ripped him earlier, but we got to give big props to Nick Mullins for this. But finally connected on a wide open use check pass. But how many times have we seen Juice wide open?
Yeah.
Oh, and he's wide open. And you know, Juice. I hope all the faithful are doing the Juice's chants. But yeah. So getting on to. Javon Kinlaw, I want to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and save that for later.
Okay.
First rookie to we already went over that. But first rookie to get a pick 6 since Dante Johnson, believe it or not, in October of 2014, his rookie year, October of 2014. So that's a little, you know, I know that Dante Johnson gets the why is he still on the still on the roster award, but you know, so we've got Jimmy Ward. We already went over him. Mm-hmm. Nick Mullins, Mike McGlinchey, 4 pressures allowed. We kind of, I mean, I think we've pounded on Mike McGlinchey enough.
Yeah.
Raheem, good to have him back. I would like to get your thoughts on this. Raheem, good to have him back,
Yeah.
but not the world's greatest game.
No, it was nice to have him back in the rotation. I definitely agree with that. But you're right, he did struggle a little bit. He wasn't as explosive as he normally is when he hits those lanes. Um, he didn't have the greatest game, but I do think he was effective
Oh
enough
yeah,
to kind of help a little bit. But yeah, I think it's probably just some being not playing for a few weeks, getting back into it.
and I think
That kind of stuff.
the best thing that he provided was a threat on the edge. It
Oh
was,
yeah.
if you don't handle your business, this man can take it to the house. All
Oh
he
yeah.
needs,
Him on the
is,
field makes
all he
teams
needs
have to
is
be
free.
like, where is he?
And if he gets
Where
to the secondary, he's gone.
Yeah.
If he gets to the secondary, he's gone. So all he needs is that little bit of crease, and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But 16 of 43 for one touchdown. I think it was just a horrible. I don't want to say horrible, but off performance by the whole offense. Jared Goff, interesting enough. Just a couple of last little notes here. He had his lowest passing total as in his career since his rookie year of 2016 against the Niners, believe it or not, and against the Niners that Christmas Eve.
Oh wow.
It was that Christmas Eve game against the Niners in 2016, I believe. Debo, 11 catches. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. And big shout out to Kevin Givens, first fumble recovery of his career. And then we'll go ahead and before we get Jamie and I's last little final thoughts, we're going to go ahead and do the Kittle Corn MVP of the week. My Kettle Corn MVP of the week is Mr. Debo Samuel. 11 catches on 13 targets, 133 yards, 83 yards after contact, 6 forced missed tackles, most of any receiver or any pass catcher in week 12. And I don't like to call him, his name is Debo Donald because, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Aaron Donald's daddy. Yes, he's your daddy. I bet you. Look, when even Matt Mayoko is trolling you with the tweet of, I wonder if Aaron Donald knows who Debo is now. I mean, bro, that's like,
I know.
even Matt Mayoko was trolling Aaron Donald.
That's funny.
He's big mad. He's big mad. Oh, he threw his. Oh man, it was just look. I'm trying not to get my part of it was with Donald as much as the clown with him. Actually, damn good. He called it pretty well. Look, let's be real. Aaron Donald damn near won him that game yesterday.
That's true.
Look,
He
so
had some fantastic plays. He really did.
Look, he did. I mean, look, that as much as I'll compare his play, his strip of Raheem Mostert with the resulting scoop and score to Defoe's play against the Seahawks last year in week 9. Week 10. Where I remember looking at Mama Debbie and everybody around, sitting with us and saying that's the type of play that's a championship play.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of play that happens when you win championships.
Yeah.
And so Aaron Donald, that's a type of championship play.
Mm-hmm.
That's a championship play by a championship player. Luckily, the Niners made other championship plays. And so, we tip his cap to him. Hey, great game. Who's your daddy? Jamie, you're Kittle Corn MVP of the week.
I was gonna go with Devo. I'm not gonna lie. That was the first person who popped in my head. Um, so it's any player,
Having
right? It doesn't have to
being
be
the
on offense.
yeah, it has to be on offense.
It has to be on offense.
Uh,
Okay.
yes. Being the host of the show has its perks. I get to go first.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm arrogant.
Let me think. Offense. Cause I was that Devo was my pick, but you know what? I'll give it to Raheem. You know, he might not have had the greatest game, but it was really good to have him back out there, and I think his presence out there in general was enough of a threat to the Rams where they had to pay attention to him. So you know, I'll give it to him coming back. His stats might not be the greatest, but it was still nice having him back, and he still ran the ball pretty like he still was running like decently.
He was effective. He was effective.
Yeah.
Also, before we go ahead and move on to Bam Bam, I do not want to forget Robbie Gold. I think that it's clear. Let's put this. This is pretty clear. The issues of he no longer has the leg to go 50 plus. Both of his misses being from 50. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to test Robbie Gold 50 plus. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, we'll give it to the duts of the game or the yam of the game, I guess you could. Duts of the game was Jalen Ramsey, because let's not pretend like jumping off sides was not a big play. You know, would
That's
Robbie
true.
Gold would have made it? I put my faith. Look, with 16 game winning field goals and 6 as a Niner, I'll put my faith in Robbie Gold gets it done from 47.
Yeah.
But 9 feet, that's like
I
that's a little
yeah.
testing. So like, jumping up.
It
Look,
was
I'll take
that
the
was a
15
big
feet.
play, and I think we all felt more comfortable when that play happened, so that Robbie Gold had more of a cushion.
Look, he nailed it,
Yeah.
and so that you can say it's a huge play. He nails it. No brainer. Robbie Boom. You know, as a homie, Travis King says, Robbie Gold game winning field goal, go. Hey, and we out. Sweep
Yeah.
LA, baby. Bam Bam, MVP of the week. Um, I'll let you get the easy one. um, but I'll go ahead and I'll do. We've done it so many times, but I'm gonna give it to Kerry Hyder. I mean, it's no. I want to give it. You know what? Scratch that. Kerry Hyder's got his place. I want to give it to Kevin Givens because
Okay.
I'm going to give it to Kevin Givens because let's be real. He's the one that forced the pressure that caused Jared Goff to throw the ball that allowed Javon Kinlaw to make the pick six. And big shout out to Kerry Hyder because he threw the block that allowed Kinlaw to get into the end zone.
That's good.
And so I think that here at Niner Faithful Radio, we always like to appreciate the underrated player. That's why That's why when I met Mr. Eric Wright
Mm-hmm.
for the first time, I looked at him and I said, Dwight Clark's catch doesn't mean shit without your tackle. You know, and I'll say that to him again. I've said it to him every time I've saw him. The catch
Mm-hmm.
does not mean anything. It's a championship play made by, whatever, like punching the ball out, and scooping and scoring.
Yeah.
But, we like to give praises to the underrated players. So I'm going to go Kevin Gibbons. Jamie, you're Bam Bam MVP. Bam Bam, for those who don't know, Bam Bam's Fred Warner. Bam
Yep.
Bam, MVP of the week. You cannot use Fred Warner. That's why we name it. You can't use George Kittle in the Kittle Corner MVP of the week, and you can't use Fred Warner in the Bam Bam. That's why they're named, because they get
All
it every
right.
week.
All right. You know who I'm gonna give it to? I'm gonna give it to Sherman. I think him coming back after all this time off, having that pick, being leading the team in tackles this week. He was solid. It was great, and it was nice having him back there. Him and Jason Verrett, I think, make a pretty good cornerback duo for right now. Um, and yeah, I thought Sherman had a pretty good game. So
Yeah,
He's my pick.
definitely. We'll do honorable mention. I thought this is where you're gonna go, but look, there's no wrong answers in this. It's your MVP. So, I think big shout out goes to Jimmy Ward, and that's actually
Yeah.
honestly who I was gonna go. But I thought Kevin Givens deserved it too. But I was gonna go Jimmy Ward. I mean, as we were talking in the pregame or our pre-show meeting, Jimmy Ward, I mean, probably I would dare say pretty comfortable in saying that this is the game of Jimmy Ward's career. I mean, I would like to say that he's had bigger plays. I would think the breakup against Thielen against Minnesota, the breakup against Green Bay in the regular season. I mean, those type of the fourth down, but against the Yams last year. But I think he definitely would have the overall game. It's probably the best game of his career yesterday. And there's something about the Yams that brings out the best in Jimmy Ward, and I like it. I love it. Some more of it. I try so hard. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I love it. And so, I don't hear so much of that trade Jimmy Ward talk anymore. And
You know
so,
what? That's true. That's very true. Haven't this time, like in the last few seasons, around this time, people will be talking about it. Haven't heard much about it this season. So,
I haven't heard about it much after this game. But the thing I also want to say, giving our last final thoughts, is I would dare say that everybody knows the knock on Jimmy Ward. It doesn't. Our safeties don't, force turnovers, all that. Well, what if you put Travarius Moore, who last season obviously, has shown the capability of having some turnovers, and you have Marcel Harris, who thumps in the box in that hybrid safety linebacker role, and then you add, Jimmy Ward. I think that's going to be plenty of force to turn turnovers. And I know everybody knows and has their opinions of, why Adam Peters was in BYU, but let's not sleep on Troy Warner, Fred Warner's brother. And, high safety, maybe play a little corner, maybe a little bulk up like his brother. And Fred came out and said he's a better football player. And so I don't know. I would assume Fred's.
That's a statement.
Yeah, and as an older brother myself, which I would like to say, rest in peace, little brother. Happy birthday yesterday, and happy birthday to Bill Walsh, the GOAT. Yesterday as well. But as a big brother myself, man, I'm trying to give my little brother props unless I mean it.
Yeah.
So don't sleep on that. And so I think that the days of big bulky is the one thing that the Niners want on defense is speed.
Oh yeah.
And when you add a pass rush to players in your back seven, being of course your secondary and your linebacking core, you have fast players that run the football, that fly around. I think that you have the recipe for a lot of turnovers. Also, to add to your point of the Fred Warner, the Bam Bam MVP of the Week award is, let's not underlook with the on the 60-yard 1-yard run. There was two players. Obviously, Verrett runs down and makes a tackle and everything like that. But who was right there? Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
And fresh legs, hasn't played week 2, but let's be real. It was a calf injury, coming out from a calf injury that has nothing to do with the Achilles that is attached with it, but somehow has nothing to do with that. Sherman defies the logic of anatomy, but running down that play, that if Verrett doesn't make the tackle, I think that you're pretty confident Sherm does. And so, Jamie, your final thoughts before we go ahead and wrap it up today?
Overall, I think this was a good win for the team. 100% think that. I think this was a needed win for the team just to boost morale, especially after everything that's been going on with the team the last couple weeks. Um, I really feel like they were feeling something going into this game and really wanted to prove themselves and stuff. And um, yeah, it's been so long since we've had back-to-back years sweeping a team in the division.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. I do think Saleh really has a good feel of the Rams offense, but I also think Kyle Shanahan probably knows a thing or two of what McVay is up to as well. So
Oh, I think that Shanahan being in the heads of McVay and LaFleur and people who he helped groom. I think that's totally real.
yeah.
I think he's the big bad boogeyman.
Yeah.
And to get into our last final point of the game, I think that look, everybody who says tank, look, I'm not going to speak. I never like to speak for everybody at Niner Faithful Radio, but Adam and I stand up. We're not tank people. Look, I grew up, as a child. What made me love in 49er football was, was obviously the dynasty, at least the tail end of it. And so I grew up with the mentality of, look, when you step up on the football field, I expect my team to win.
Yeah.
And, so one game out of a playoff stretch, one game out of a playoff spot, tied in 10th, but tied for basically 8th, let's be real. And look, you have the Cardinals lose, or Arizona. We have to be nice to them since they're letting us use their stadium. Yeah. Arizona all of a sudden loses to the Yams next week. And, we beat Buffalo. Now, it's all essentially, we'll wrap it up by saying this, is win 2 out of the next 3, Arizona loses against the Yams, and all of a sudden that week 16 matchup is for the tiebreaker of the division. We would have a better record division. We would have the tiebreaker, even though we would split the season series. And, Shanahan today on this press conference, and one part I did see floating around, I haven't watched it yet, but floating around was that Jimmy and Kittle have a possibility of by the last 2 games of the season. So you bring Jimmy and George Kittle back for that Arizona game. You win. You got the tiebreaker. You're in the 7th seed. And look, it's all about how you're playing. And look, if we win the 2 of the next 3 games, it's not. How did New York win when they were 9-7? Wasn't because they had the greatest season. It was because they were playing the best football going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the Niners can finish the season 5-1, 4-2 with some luck.
Yeah.
And getting healthier, I would be it. Look, let's be realistic. Going into the playoffs, week 1, whatever wild card weekend of the playoffs, that's about as healthy as the Niners are going to get this season.
That's true.
And so if we're playing our best football and being about as healthy as we're going to get into, hey, look, it's all about getting into the tournament, and you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's true.
I
believe, and Cardinals lose, and we go on a hot streak, and we get Jimmy and Kittle back at the right. It's a possibility we could sneak into the playoffs.
Look,
it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just gonna have to see how the team plays, and I don't think this team goes out to purposely to tank or anything like that. I think they always try to go out there and play their best. So
Kyle Shanahan does not go on for it on 4th and 1 if he's trying to tank.
Yeah.
Let's be real. He did that to get Rob to win the game. Those things don't happen. To try to tank. And so for everybody who's draft position, we're 15th. And look, the one thing that the 2 greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, I think we will all agree are Joe and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
they were both, weren't taken in the first round, and I dare to go through. We'll go through it in off season preparation. Obviously, I'm going to go through and see how many quarterbacks taken in the first round have actually gone on to win Super Bowls, have gone on to be Hall of Famers, and those type of things. Look, I'm not saying this is not going to happen. Obviously, the draft's a crapshoot. You take the player of the first round, he's going to give you the highest probability. I'm not saying that, but if I think the one thing we learned about the Linehan era is if they want somebody, they're going to do what's necessary to get it. And so if Kyle Shanahan says, I'm willing to bet my coaching, my job, the stigma of, is he a Norv Turner? Great coordinator, but not great head coach and all that. I'm willing to stick that on the shoulders of this young quarterback, this 22, 23-year-old kid. If he wants him and says, that's the man, I want him, we're going to get him. We're going to do what's necessary to get him.
Yep.
So trust and believe that that's going to happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Jamie, where can the people find you on the social medias?
So I'm on Twitter at 49ersfan94. And yeah, that's really, I'm on Facebook at Jamie, but that's like my personal Facebook, so I don't really go on there. So if you really want to talk or anything like that, message me, hit me up on Twitter. That's where I'm at.
Okay. And also make sure to check out Good Morning Niner Empire, released every morning at 5 a.m. Jamie does a great job. Thank you for joining us today, Jamie. Excellent job.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. For Super Duper Moderator, Kim, Jamie, Jason, and myself, we thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Niner Faithful Radio Review. We shall see y'all on Friday.
Yep. See you guys.
For Niner Faithful Radio Preview. Yep. Niners Buffalo. Till then, same faithful time, same faithful channel. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Oh, yeah. I promise this. I don't always sweep. When I do, I sweep LA.
Go Niners.